This might be the most powerful war flag ever released in this game, and I've spent the last several days doing something no one else has done yet, actually testing it, hero by hero, to find out what it really does. And what I found completely contradicts what the tooltip tells you. War Flag of Steel Storm is set to release July 24th during the Emerald City event, available to players who purchase the Emerald City ticket. But before you spend anything on it, you need to understand what this thing actually does in practice, because it's not what it looks like on paper. Here's the official description. War Flag of Steel Storm says that when an allied hero deals physical damage to multiple enemies with a single ability, all affected enemies take extra damage equal to 12% of the original amount, with each inserted red pattern adding another 3%. Read that on its own, and it sounds simple, your O skills just hit harder. That's what I assumed too, going in. So I started testing hero after hero in combat training, comparing damage numbers with the flag equipped and without it, expecting to see bigger numbers on heroes whose skills clearly hit multiple enemies. And at first, almost nothing seemed to change. Hero after hero, I was looking at the skill's damage number before and after equipping the flag, and it looked completely identical. Heroes I was sure would benefit, Lara Croft, Dante, Chaba, Tristan, Galahad, showed zero difference. I nearly assumed this war flag was flat out broken. Here's why it goes deeper. If breakdowns like this actually help you avoid wasting resources on things that don't work the way they're described, do me a favor and subscribe right now, because I'm about to explain what I actually found, and it changes how you should think about testing anything in this game before you commit to it. So here's what's actually happening. This war flag isn't boosting your skill zone damage number at all. What it's actually doing is firing a completely separate, additional hit of pure damage roughly 1 second after your attack lands. Because I was only watching the skill zone damage line, I was completely missing this delayed second hit every single time. A big thank you goes to Sun Gokuz, who helped me figure out exactly how this flag actually works. Once I started watching the combat log specifically for that extra pure damage instance landing a beat after the original attack, everything changed. Lara Croft, Dante, Kark, Iris, Tristan, Chaba, Galahad, every single one of them was actually working the entire time. I just wasn't looking in the right place. And there's another layer to this that matters even more. Because this bonus is calculated as a percentage of your actual final hit damage, it isn't some fixed, predictable number tied to a skill's base value. If you land a critical hit, that extra damage instance scales up right along with it. If you've got other damage buffs active, patterns, pets, artifacts stacking on top of your physical attack, all of that feeds into what the flag adds afterward. There's no flat number I can give you for any of these heroes, because the real value depends entirely on your own gear, your buffs, and whether that specific hit crit. What I can tell you is which heroes actually trigger this bonus at all, and that's honestly the more useful thing to know anyway, since the exact number will always be different in every fight you're in. So let's go through what I actually confirmed, hero by hero, once I knew what to look for. Lara Croft triggers it on both Power of the Tombs and Steady Shot. Dante triggers it on Instrument of Fate. Kark triggers it on Deadly Tendrils. Iris triggers it on Otherworldly Creature. Tristan triggers it on Sacred Rage. Chaba triggers it on Burp. Galahad triggers it on Iron Skies. Somna triggers it on Counting Sheep. Artemis triggers it on Smart Arrow. Isaac triggers it through High Voltage Module. Kira triggers it through Dancing Blades. Adam triggers it through Fan the Hammer. Ginger triggers it on Lead Storm. Poos triggers it through the Grey Goose damage portion of March of the Geese. Luther triggers it on Omen. Daredevil triggers it on Big Bada Boom. Ching Mao triggers it on Ching Long. Now here's where it gets genuinely interesting, because 2 heroes on this list are triggering this war flag on their basic attacks, not just their skills. Darkstar has a skill called Partner, which causes a shadow to appear after every shot she fires, and that shadow attacks the next enemy for a percentage of her physical attack. Because of Partner, her basic attack ends up hitting 2 different heroes almost every time she fires, the original shot and the shadow's follow-up, and that's enough to trigger Steel Storm on essentially every attack she lands, not just when a skill is off cooldown. Kayla has something similar going on. Her basic attack also connects with 2 heroes at once, so she's getting this same constant, passive value on top of whatever her Raging Sparks skill adds separately. Kira is a related but slightly different case. Her basic attack doesn't naturally hit multiple enemies on its own, but her skill, Dancing Blades, is what transforms her basic attack into something that ricochets and hits every enemy on the field. So across these 3 heroes, you're getting war flag value on nearly every single attack, not just from cooldown skills. But here's the one result that genuinely surprised me, and it's the opposite of what happened with everyone else. The Ninja Turtles have 4 skills that all clearly hit multiple enemies with physical damage, exactly matching every condition this war flag describes. And despite that, none of their 4 skills actually trigger Steel Storm. I tested all 4, specifically watching for that delayed pure damage hit we now know to look for, and it simply never appears. I don't have a confirmed explanation for why. Every other multi-target physical damage skill I tested triggered this bonus, but the Turtles are a clean, consistent exception across their entire kit. I also want to be upfront about a couple of important conditions worth knowing before you build around this war flag. It only triggers if there are at least 2 enemies on the battlefield to begin with. It does nothing against a single remaining target. And if shield effects are active and absorb the damage on all but 1 hero, so that only 1 enemy actually takes real damage from your hit, the flag won't trigger either, even if your skill was aimed at multiple targets. So here's my honest, bottom line take after everything I've tested. I was previously running War Flag of Swift Warriors on my physical damage teams, and in my opinion, Steel Storm is simply the stronger pick going forward. Swift Warriors only speeds up skill recharge, and only for warrior class heroes specifically. Steel Storm, once you understand how it actually works, applies to nearly every physical damage hero in the game whose attacks connect with more than 1 enemy, skills and even basic attacks alike, which is a far wider net of heroes this thing actually helps. If this saved you from making the same assumption I almost made, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments which hero on this list you're most excited to try this war flag on. And if you've got a hero I didn't cover here, tell me below and I'll test them for a follow-up. Keep thinking deeper, keep testing smarter. Salute and friendship.